Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my first online story time for today, January 20th. I am Miss Jen, and I will be reading some stories to you today. But first, before we get to our first book, can you get your hands ready for some open, shut them? Ready? Open, shut them. Open, shut them. Give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them. Open, shut them. Put them in your lap, lap, lap. Creep them, crawl them. Creep them, crawl them. Right up to your chin, chin, chin. Open wide your little mouth, but do not let them in. Good job, everybody. And our first book today, it's called Leave Me Alone. Let's see, she does not look too happy. Let's see. Once there was an old woman. She lived in a small village in a small house with a very big family. Look at all of the people in that house. Winter was coming. That meant she had some very important knitting to do. She needed some nice warm hats and scarves for her family. But it wasn't getting done with all those kids around. Her grandchildren were curious about her knitting. Were you supposed to hit the ball with a stick? Could you eat it? Could you make your brother eat it? Look at that. Why did the ball get smaller and smaller as you chased it? The old woman was at the end of her rope. Or should I say, she was at the end of her yarn. So she made her bed as neatly as she could. She swept the floorboards until they were more or less shown. There she is sweeping. She drank tea for her samovar. She packed up her things in a big sack and she left. And as she left, she shouted back, "Leave me alone." There she is. There she is leaving. The old woman walked through the deep, dark forest. She made a fire so that she could see what she was doing. Then she sat down and began to knit. Do you see? There she is, making her fire and starting to knit. The bear family was very curious about the light from her fire and about what she might taste like. But you know what she said to them? She said, "Leave me alone." There she is, tapping the bear on the nose as she shouted at the bear. But they didn't listen because bears don't speak English. So she picked up her sack and left. The bear looks confused about why she touched him on the nose. The old woman climbed up the mountainside. It was cold, so she found a small sheltered place. Then she sat down and began to knit again. Oh, but who do you see? The mountain goats were excited to have a visitor, especially one that brought snacks. Look, there they are, eating the yarn. You know what she told them? She said, "Leave me alone," the old woman shouted at the goats. But the goats were too busy fighting over the red ones, which they all agreed were the best. So she picked up her sack and left. There she is. She's going higher up the mountain. The old woman climbed higher and higher up the mountain. She reached the top. What did she do? She reached the top and she climbed up to the moon. She found a rock that was shaped like a chair. She sat down and she began to to knit. The little green moon men had never seen a woman before, old or otherwise. They examined her with handheld scanners that went beep boop. She doesn't look too happy. So she shouts, "Leave me alone." The little green moon men couldn't hear her because they didn't have any ears. So she picked up her sack and left through a wormhole. There she goes, through the wormhole. The void on the other side of the wormhole was very dark and very quiet. She was absolutely, completely, and utterly alone. It was perfect. There she is, doing her knitting all alone. Soon she had no more yarn and 30 little sweaters. And she was alone. There's her sweaters. But she doesn't look too happy anymore now that her knitting is done. So she put the 30 sweaters into the big sack. She swept the void until it was a nice matte black. She had a cup of tea from her samovar. Then she picked up the sack and left through another wormhole. When she came out the other side, everything was right where she'd left it. And she didn't say a word. There she is. There are the kids going through the sweaters, and everybody's getting a brand new sweater. And it looks like she's pretty happy to be back home with her grandkids. The end. That is Leave Me Alone. And our next book is called My Pet Wants a Pet. Uh-oh, pets don't have pets, do they? I don't know, we'll find out in this book. Once, there was a boy who wanted something to take care of. Something of his very own. There he is in the window. And he's watching everybody with their dogs. Here's another dog and a dog in the car. He wanted something of his very own. Look, he even drew a picture of a dog for his mom. He begged and he begged when he saw this dog in the park. And he begged his mother. Look, there they are at the pet store. He's looking at the puppy. Until, what do you know? It looks like maybe she's going to say yes. She said yes. There they leave. The boy loved his puppy. He fed him, he played with him, and he cuddled him in his arms. The puppy loved his boy. He licked him, and he jumped on him, and he fell asleep in his lap. They had the best time together, the boy and his pet. Such a good time, in fact, that the puppy decided he too wanted a pet. I don't know, what do you think? Do puppies have their own pets? I wonder what kind of pet a puppy would get. I wonder, there's a clue up here in this tree. The boy's mother thought this was a terrible idea. The puppy is your pet, she said. He does not need a pet. But the boy understood that the puppy wanted something to take care of, something of his very own. So the puppy got a kitten, a furry orange one. Truth be told, the boy was surprised at this choice. Dogs chase cats, he told the puppy. And the puppy did chase the kitten, but only as a game. And afterward, he let her eat from his bowl and play with his ball, and they dozed in the sun side by side. In fact, they got along so well and they had so much fun together that it wasn't long before the kitten herself wanted a pet. I wonder what kind of pet a kitten would have. I think there's a clue on this page. Do you see it? When the little boy told his mother this, she looked at him like he was crazy. The kitten is the pet of your pet. She certainly does not need a pet. But the boy and the puppy understood that the kitten wanted something to take care of, something of her very own. And so the kitten came home one day with a bird, a pretty red bird. Now, once again, this seemed like an odd choice. Cats catch birds, the boy told the kitten, and the kitten did sometimes pounce on the bird, but it was all really in good fun. The kitten made sure the bird had water and places to fly and perch, and they got along so well and did so many marvelous things together that soon enough, what do you think? Do you think the bird is going to want a pet? I wonder what kind of pet a bird would get. Could it be a worm like this one? Maybe. The bird wanted a pet. Now this is getting ridiculous, said the boy's mother. The bird is the pet of your pet. She does not need a pet. But the boy knew that she did. She really did. So the bird brought home a worm, a little green worm. The boy started to explain that birds eat worms. But then he decided to leave well enough alone. And the bird took such good care of the worm and was so gentle when she carried him and so quick to protect him that before long, guess what? Do you think the worm is going to want its own pet? What kind of pet would a worm have? The worm did want a pet. What? Cried the boy's mother. That worm is the pet of the pet of the pet of your pet. He does not need a pet. But the boy knew that even a worm might need something to take care of, something of his very own. And so the worm found a flea. Look at how tiny that little flea is. It was a tiny brown flea, and it hopped all over the house. Why, the worm had trouble keeping up with it. But he followed the flea and looked after it, and soon they were the best of friends. Such good friends, in fact, that in no time at all, can you imagine what happened next? That is right. The flea wanted a pet. Absolutely not, said the boy's mother. That flea is the pet of the pet of the pet of the pet of your pet. No more pets. But that didn't stop the flea, because of course he wanted something to take care of. Something of his very own. I wonder, it looks like the flea is hopping along the bottom of the page. I wonder who he's hopping towards. So the flea decided the puppy would be his pet. Oh, life was wonderful. The boy and the puppy and the kitten and the bird and the worm and the flea were as happy as could be because they all had pets. But there was someone, a special and important someone, who wasn't happy. She wasn't happy at all. Now, the boy and the puppy and the kitten and the bird and the worm and the flea were a little bit worried. None of them wanted to give up their pets. What were they going to do? The boy thought about this for a long time. Looks like he's thinking about it on the potty. And then he had an idea. And look, it looks like he's making a box. They're all decorating a box, and it has 2 on it. I wonder who it's for. His mother needed something to take care of, something of her very own. And look, he popped out of the box. And then he jumped up and hugged his mom. Because whenever you take care of something, that something takes care of you. The end. That's my pet. wants a pet. Let's see. Our next book is called The Little Guys. Let's see what this is about. Oh, this is by the same author of Leave Me Alone. You are looking at the strongest guys in the forest. What do you think? Is it the bears or the ducks or the turtle that's down here? Right there? Nope. Down here. Do you see them? No, it's not yet. On this island. Do you see the little dots? We are the little guys. Those little dots were the little guys. Yes, we are small, but there are lots of us. Together we are strong, and we can get all that we need. We can cross deep water where you can't see the bottom. Do you see? They're crossing on the leaves. They're using the leaves as little boats. We never get lost in the big dark forest. Do you see? They're holding hands as they cross through the forest. Nothing to fear for the little guys. We can find enough food for all of us. Look, they're too short to reach the berry bushes, but what they do is they just stand on top of each other's shoulders, and then they can reach the berries. We can lift things that weigh more than we do. Look, they're standing on top of each other's shoulders to turn the log. But who did they knock out? They knocked the chipmunks out of the little log. That's not very nice. We can climb the tallest tree there is. Easy peasy for the little guys. There they are, climbing the tree and going to the nest. But, uh-oh. It looks like when they did that, they knocked Owl out of her nest. That's not very nice. We can dig through anything that stands in our way. Nothing stops the little guys. There they are, digging. Well, who did they knock out? They knocked Fox out of her house. That's not very nice. We can beat up the biggest animal that we find. Don't mess with the little guys. Do you see them? They're carrying this bear. And they're jumping up on top of this bear. That's not very nice. None for you, all for us. Hand it over to the little guys. That's not very nice. It looks like they stole the berries from the birds and they stole the fish from the bears. That's not very nice. We are the little guys. Yes, we are small, but there are a lot of us. Whoops. Do you see them? They're standing on top of all of the food that they took from the other animals. That's not very nice. Together we are strong and we have everything. It looks like maybe this one bird still has a berry. They can't allow that to happen. We have everything. There they are. They're standing on top of each other's shoulders and leaning over to the bird and reaching to take the berry out of its beak. That's not very nice. Until, it looks like they're all tipping over. Their tower was too high and now it's falling. And splash! There they are. They all fell into the water. I wonder what's going to happen. We are the little guys. There they are in the water. But who, you know what I see? I see owl and fox and bear. They're looking through the bushes. Yes, there are a lot of us. Look, it looks like Bear is helping to scoop them out. Fox is using its tail. Owl is holding a branch, getting them out of the water. And Turtle is letting them climb on its back. There are a lot of us, but we are small. We have all we need. And together, there they are, picking up their fruit and passing it along. And then they're standing up on top of each other. Together, we are strong. There they are, giving the bird its berry back. Because they realize they're part of the forest. And they all need to work together. The end. That's the little guys. Okay, let's see. Let's see this book. It's a little one. It's called Dear Zoo, a pop-up book. Let's see. I wrote to the zoo to send me a pet. They sent me, it says, very heavy. I wonder what animal at the zoo is very heavy. It's an elephant. Uh-oh. What would you do if a zoo sent you an elephant to live in your house? Do you think it would fit? I don't know. I think you would have to have a very big house. He was too big, so I sent him back. So instead, they sent me an animal, that's very tall. What animal at the zoo is very tall? Look at how tall that giraffe is. He was too tall, so I sent him back. So they sent me, can you tell what animal it's going to be? It's a very fierce animal from the zoo. They sent me, a lion. Look at his jaws. Arr. He was too fierce, so I sent him back. So instead, they sent me this animal. Do you know what animal this is? They sent me a camel. What do you think about having a camel as a pet? But he was too grumpy, so I sent him back. Ooh, let's see. This one might be a little scary. So they sent me what animal goes hiss? They sent me a snake. There it is. He was too scary, so I sent him back. So, next, they sent me, well, can you tell whose head this is? They sent me a monkey. Do you see it? There's the monkey. Would you want a monkey as a pet? I don't think so. He was too naughty, so I sent him back. So, they sent me, what animal goes ribbit, ribbit, ribbit? They sent me a frog. Do you see the frog? He's jumping out of the box. He was too jumpy, so I sent him back. So they thought very hard and sent me, who do you think would be the perfect pet to have in your house? They sent a puppy. He was perfect, so I kept him. What do you think? What would you name this puppy? If you could name this puppy, what would you call it? That is Dear Zoo. Okay, we have one last book. This is our last book of story time this week. It's called Giant Pop Out Pets. So I'm gonna say the clue. You listen and see if you can guess what the pet is. I walk quietly on my 4 soft paws. And I sometimes chase after mice. And my tail can curl around like this. What am I? I think we saw this book in My Pet Wants a Pet. Let's see. I'm a cat. Look at how big that kitten is. We saw this one too in My Pet Wants a Pet. I love to chew on biscuits and bones. You can walk me on a leash too. And here is my bowl of food. What kind of animal am I? Any guesses? I'm a dog. Good guess. Okay, ready? I have a puffy little tail, and I love to munch on carrots. I sleep inside a hutch like this. What am I? Who has this fluffy little tail? Do you have any guesses? It's a bunny. Look at those ears. It's a bunny. I am shiny and smooth and covered in scales. My gills help me breathe underwater. And I live in a bowl like this. What am I? What pet would you have that lives in water? It's a fish. Let's see. I can run for hours on my exercise wheel, and I like to stuff my cheeks with food. My cage has a fluffy lining so I can dig and play. What am I? Hamster. Okay, let's see. This is the last one. I have feathers that help me fly. And my home has a perch where I sit. Can you see it right there? And I like to eat seeds and nuts. What am I? A bird. That's a pretty multicolored bird. Do any of you have birds as pets? That is giant pop-out pets. Okay, good job reading with me for everybody. And like usual, we will end with our Zoom song. Can you get your hands ready for me? We'll go zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. If you'd like to take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach down and blast up to the moon. Jump up as high as you can and see if you can get to the moon. Okay. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I will see everybody next week. Bye.